Hey everybody, Edre here, and today I'm going to be doing a review of the new car seat headrest album, Making a Door Less Open. This will likely be a bit quicker of a review. First off, I have some opinions on car seat headrest. Well, let me just start by saying this. I personally don't get all the hype that surrounds this band. I know they're big in the indie community and all that, and are very respected, and they've been really prominent over the past decade. But I don't know. I mean, I like their music. I don't think it's bad, but between his voice, between the writing, between the overall sound, it's just I have had a hard time really getting into it. And it's not because I'm not into indie music. I do like quite a bit of indie music. But there's just something that's always been a little off-putting about Car Seat Headrest for me. And this album really follows through with that. Usually I go through track by track basis on these reviews, but I'm probably not going to do that too much here because I think the reason all my thoughts come from the overall feel of this album. And I've heard so far, I think 20-something albums this year, or at least not heard, but I've reviewed 20-something albums this year. A handful of them have been more on the indie side. A handful of the songs I've heard have been more on the indie side. And so far, this is probably the least interesting indie one I've heard. I will say, however, that I don't hate this thing. I think that overall, sound-wise, I think that they are continuously going down where their strong points are. I do quite like their sound here quite a bit. But it doesn't do much for me. Like, it feels too forced at times, and I know that's probably a horrible way to describe it just because they obviously have been doing this for a long time, but there's just something that just seems very off about this to me. Like, it's just very average. Like, it seems very much out of the indie playbook, and in 2020 I don't care at all to hear any of that, to be completely honest with you. I know that overall this is probably like one of my worst reviews just because it is a lot more detailed, but that's just because I can't find much to talk about. I know that's probably gonna be controversial because usually artists like this that have a cult following and everything, usually there's at least something to talk about here. Usually there's a lot to talk about here, and I usually go deep into all that. But this one's relatively quick. I don't know. I think that it's just very stereotypical of a indie album, and that's just how I feel. I'm settled on giving this a light 4. Anything above a 5 is good. Anything below is bad. So I'm really not digging this album. I think that overall there's nothing new, nothing really too interesting that I really like here. But I will say, because they execute the indie rock sound decently, that's what prevents it from being lower. I don't know. I don't know what with the hype around this group too much, but yeah. Car Seat Headrest, Making a Door Less Open. Light 4 out of 10.